All right, welcome to the first live stream from the Electrek Formula Sun Grand Prix 2025. We are here at the Dynamic Station where we are running the slalom test. Just like last year, as soon as we set up the live stream, all of the teams decided to take a break. So we will be out here shortly. We're expecting to see Illinois and Cal back out here first, and where they'll be attempting the slalom test. We have a number of other teams getting ready to come out as well, so we hope to see them out here very soon. But we, at this point, are just going to be waiting for a little bit until Illinois and Cal are ready to try again. It looks like our head dynamics inspector is going to attempt the slalom in his personal car. Give you something to watch. So this is what the slalom test looks like. It is a requirement for the cars to complete this in 12 seconds. So we make every car, every driver do it, and if they're a multi-occupant vehicle, they need to do it with all passenger combinations that they want to drive with. So 2 passengers, 3 passengers, 4 passengers, just the driver, anything they want to drive with, they need to pass the dynamic stability test here at the slalom. I see Illinois and UBC behind us getting their cars ready, and Cal as well. So hopefully we'll have those 3 cars out here fairly soon. Goes run number 2. All right, we're gonna have our first solar car here. UBC is bringing their car up, and they'll be the first solar car you get to see here. I see Council. All right, I apologize for our technical difficulties, but it looks like we're back online, and we have 2 solar cars here lined up to do the slalom test. We have UBC and Council. So UBC has 1 pass for this driver. They completed the slalom in just over 11.5 seconds, the requirement being 12 seconds. Council, this is their driver's first attempt, so that she's still working up to the speed. She did 12.5 seconds. So she can take a few tries, get used to it, get comfortable, and then as long as she gets some times under 12, she'll pass. So here's UBC.
Cal you're good to go. UBC, that was an 11 point.
UBC just completed that in 11.8 seconds, which is a pass. It was very close. So they may ask to see multiple runs from drivers on things that are close. If they pass by a good margin, they may just need 1 good run. All right, here comes Cal Sol, car number 6 from the University of California, Berkeley. This is much faster than the previous one. It's 11.5 for Cal Sol. Here goes UBC again. So that's another pass, and Calsol will come through again. We have a question about how many teams are here this year. So we have 32 teams registered to compete. They're all here at the track, and we have 6 of those in the multi-occupant class, and the rest are in the single occupant class. So far, 3 of our multi-occupant vehicles passed dynamics yesterday. We had App State and Georgia Tech and Poly Montreal, who was the first team through all of scrutineering. And we had 1 SOV pass yesterday, which was Florida Poly, and they also fully completed scrutineering. We're going to see UBC again. Calsol's taking a short break here. I also see that Stanford has made their way out to the dynamics area, so we may see them shortly. I believe they went through the U-turn no problem and the figure 8. Those are the first requirements before you get to the slalom and the braking tests. So here goes UBC again. Hugging those cones very closely. 11.6 seconds. That's another pass. So at slalom, the inspectors are not just looking for the time. The time is a hard requirement, but they're also looking to make sure the driver maintains control of the car looks dynamically stable for the entire test. So it's not just the time. We want to make sure the car completes it well, not just making the time. They need to be in control, stable throughout the entire test. Okay. It looks like we may be switching to wet braking, so we may go down for just a moment and relocate over there. All right, we will be back with you in about 2 or 3 minutes as we relocate to the wet braking area, where we'll have UBC doing braking and hopefully Cal Sol, Illinois, and Stanford joining them shortly. Welcome back to Dynamics here at the Electrek Formula Sun Grand Prix 2025 here at NCM Motorsports Park in Bowling Green, Kentucky. As you can see, UBC's out there getting their driver ready for the brake tests, and we have the sprinklers on, getting the area nice and wet to make sure they can stop on wet pavement in the required time. We have 3 additional teams getting ready to come out here. You can see them and their tents over across the Dynamics pad. From left to right, on the left side we have Stanford, in the middle we have University of Illinois, and on the right side we have Cal Sol from the University of California, Berkeley. Additionally, rolling out here now, it looks like we have App State and their MOV. Well, maybe they have a few more things left at Dynamics, or they may be coming to do lights and vision testing as well, which is out here. All right, so the sprinklers are off, and that means that the pavement is wet enough for the brake test to the satisfaction of the Dynamics inspectors. And so the UBC driver here is going to loop around and pick up some speed. They need to be going at least 25 miles per hour in order for the brake test to be valid. The way brake testing works is that there is a required deceleration rate. I can quote the number for you, but to make the math easy, if they're going 30 miles an hour, they need to stop in 3 seconds. If they're going 25 miles per hour, they need to stop in 2.5 seconds. So that's the standard we'll be going to. And each driver of the car is required to demonstrate the ability to do this 2 out of 3 attempts. So they'll get 3 tries, and they must succeed on 2 of them. All right, we're getting a little bit more water on here before they come out. So we had one more question about the slalom, about how many of those cones have been hit. We had a lot of just little taps yesterday, especially when the cars were out there for the first time with some new drivers. And we had a couple get knocked over. Georgia Tech, with their big 4-seater multi-occupant vehicle, is pretty big and challenging for the slalom compared to these smaller vehicles. So they had a few taps as their drivers got used to it. All right, here comes UBC. First attempt here. All right, so their driver is only going 20 miles per hour, so they need to accelerate a little bit faster in order for the run to count. So they're going to go around and tell their driver to push that accelerator pedal just a little bit harder. All right, here we go again with UBC. This time you can see the flag on the left side. When the flag drops, they hit the brake.
He was a 23.
All right, so once again, he stopped just about fast enough, but wasn't quite going fast enough when he did so. So that time it came in at 23 miles an hour. Need to get up to 25 in order for the run to count. So on the left side, you can see our flagger, and standing next to him is another staff member who has a radar gun. So as the car is coming towards them, they are looking at the radar gun, and if the flag is raised up, that is a signal to the driver that he needs to go faster. Once the flag goes level, that is telling the driver that he is going fast enough to hold the speed. So level means hold your speed, and then when the flag drops, that's when the time starts for braking. And we have another staff member on the right side here doing the timing. I think UBC is here going to figure out why they're not getting fast enough, and then they'll be ready to go again. All right, UBC has their car ready to go, and they're gonna go for it again.
That's good.
All right, here they come. See, the flag is level, so that means they're fast enough to maintain that speed. The flag drops and stop.
23. Back right didn't lock. I don't think it's
All right, so that one's marginal good, so they're gonna have them do it again. They're just barely at that target speed.
No, never mind.
So they're gonna ask him to continue going and try to maintain his speed when the flag goes level, instead of slowing down a little bit. And then keep braking just as fast.
They're all locking at the same time, though.
I see Stanford over doing the U-turn test, so hopefully they will pass that. They'll make their way onto the figure 8, and then they will be over here. And Cal-Sol and Illinois, I see the Illinois car getting put back together, so maybe they'll be out here. Cal-Sol seems to be doing a little bit of work still. All right, here comes UBC. All right, he had had trouble getting up to speed, so he's going to go around and try again. Or they may check a few things out here quick, see why that happened. We've got the University of Illinois number 22 car about to join our queue for brake testing here. So we're going to see another car out here. UBC appears fixing something that is causing them trouble with accelerating before they come back out. You just saw that army of the University of Illinois team crossing in front, and next up is going to be their car coming down here. So there he is, building up some speed. The flag's still up, so I still need to accelerate more. That is good speed, and brake. So in that case, the car stopped fast enough, but they need to, in addition to stopping fast enough, maintain adequate control of the car and that the car brakes nicely. So you saw the car fishtail just a little bit there, so they're going to want to see it not do that and the driver maintain control better. They're also going a little bit faster than needed so they can maintain their speed when the flag goes level rather than continue to accelerate, and that might help them a little bit. They're going to go around and try again. I believe this is a driver from last year, so they should have no problem passing here. Here comes Illinois again. Gaining some speed, aiming himself right for the wettest part. There you go. So that is a pass, 27 miles per hour in less than 2.7 seconds. I believe I heard 2.6, and the car stayed much straighter that time. So that's going to be one pass. So they're going to make him go back and do it again. It also appears that Stanford has completed the figure 8 test and passed that. So we will see them out here braking as soon as they're ready. It looks like they're getting the driver loaded up in the car right now. Here comes the next attempt from car number 22, Illinois. Reach the required speed and brake. That was 27 miles per hour and stopped in 2.4 seconds. So that meets the requirements. And this driver has passed. So I believe they're going to do a driver swap and come back with the next driver. And the Stanford team will be sending their representative over here to the tent on the right side with the radio to talk to the driver and getting lined up for their first attempts of the brake test this year. All right, here comes Stanford with their first attempt. This is another one of those narrow single occupant vehicles. So once again, they stopped in the required time, but they're only going 22 miles an hour, which is why you saw the flag never go level. But this is the first attempt, so they're going to tell them to push that pedal a little bit harder and go around and try again. Here comes Stanford again. There they go. Now they're moving. Still speeding up. So 24 miles an hour and 2.0 seconds. That is plenty of margin, but not enough speed. So they're going to tell them to work on that acceleration a little bit. But it seems like their car is braking under control and braking plenty fast. So they just need to accelerate a little bit more. All right, rolling start this time for Stanford. Hopefully that helps. See Illinois finishing up their driver swap. All right, he reached the speed this time. All right, that's passed 26 miles an hour, 2.1 seconds. Lots of margin. And so they're going to swap out drivers. With all of the runs he did below speed, it is very clear that this driver was well in control, braking plenty fast. So one attempt there at the right speed, and they're going to give him a pass. If you pass by a lot, you can get through with fewer tries. If you're very marginal, they're going to want to see that it's repeatable over and over again. So if you have drivers coming through here that are going 25 miles an hour and braking in 2.5 seconds, they're going to make them do it several times. But if you're at 25 and doing 2.0, 2.1 like Stanford, that's going to be an easy pass. Looks like perhaps we'll see App State out here. They may have one more driver to bring through brake tests. I know they were at Dynamics here yesterday, but they have a couple of people sent out here to the tent, which usually means their car will show up soon. Looks like UBC may be putting their car back together as well, so hopefully that means we'll see them shortly. Council is still out there working on their car. They got Stanford and Illinois doing driver swaps, and then they'll be right back out. So hopefully the Illinois is soon. When they do driver swaps, they're required to swap the ballast. So to maintain fairness, every driver and passenger has ballast in the car, and so this makes the weight even. So all drivers and passengers must weigh 80 kilograms, about 176 pounds, between the ballast and the driver's actual weight. So they all got weighed in over the last few days at the driver registration station, where they checked, driver's licenses, appropriate shoes, safety equipment, so helmets that are properly rated and fit properly, and all of those things in addition to the ballast. So for some teams, getting ballast in and out of the car is a little difficult. Some of these teams have small drivers. They have 50 plus pounds of ballast. So getting that in to your car can be a little bit of a challenge. It makes your driver swap take a little bit of time. I see the Illinois driver is into the car with the ballast in the car. They're handing her the steering wheel back, and that should mean she's good to go. Stanford is putting the ballast in now, so they should be not too far behind.
Okay, you're up. Yeah. Sorry about that. Jeez.
Lights and vision for dynamics. Do you have Calpul's scrutineering sheets? We do have Calpul's scrutineering sheets. I was wondering when they'd notice.
Sorry we lost you for a moment there, but luckily most of our teams are at driver swaps. You missed one pass from a new Stanford driver, and now we have the new Illinois driver coming out, and the Stanford driver will be lining up behind them. All right, here comes the Illinois car. New driver, first attempt.
If whatever you're doing, car out of the flash zone.
All right, that was first attempt for a new Illinois driver. They're going to go explain how the flags work and come back so she starts braking at the right time. All right, here comes Stanford again.
Yeah, you can drop real quick. Come on, come on, come on. Hustle, hustle.
19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25.
Reach speed.
Woo! 25.
Real nice.
That was a very nice smooth stop from Stanford. No skidding, maintain good control. And that's another pass for their second driver. And they may only have two drivers, so that may be all of their drivers.
Does he have a radio? I'm going to hand you my radio.
All right, it looks like they're going to go do slalom while Illinois stays here to finish brake testing. All right, Illinois seems to have their driver ready to go. So here they are rolling out to attempt again. Be on your left side of your screen just momentarily. There they are. And Stanford is getting their drivers ready for the slalom. We will try to show you that as well. And I see Calsol's car getting put back together, so maybe we'll see them out here shortly. We'll stay live with you for hopefully another half hour, and we may come back again later tonight. And so the best place to find out about that is going to be on our social media accounts. We will post on Facebook and Instagram. So make sure you pay attention there. You follow us in either or both of those places. Of course, you can also subscribe and turn on notifications on our YouTube channel, and that'll let you know as soon as we are going live. Here comes the Illinois car. They reached the required speed. Not quite stopping fast enough. So they were at 27 miles an hour, but the brake time was, I believe, about 3.5 seconds, it sounds like. So they're going to send her around again, keep trying, and also ask her to line up with the water a little bit better. Here comes Illinois for another run. I see Stanford getting lined up for slalom. 15 miles an hour. 20. Got to 25 miles an hour, but didn't quite brake fast enough. So they're going to go work with their driver to get that sorted out. We're going to switch you here over to slalom. You can see Stanford car coming up. So if you missed the slalom at the earlier part of the live stream, the slalom is a series of cones that the drivers have to slalom through, and they have to do it under 12 seconds. And they have to maintain good control of the car, and this car has to demonstrate dynamic stability throughout. So that was a good run from Stanford. I don't have the times for you. It looked fairly good. It was probably close if it wasn't good. But the car is very stable. The driver didn't hit any cones, and made all the turns nice and smoothly. So if they keep doing that and they do it at the right speed, that'll be a good pass. Do one more, Tara. Once she's like below 10 miles. Another nice smooth run from Stanford, and based on the applause they're giving to their driver, I'm going to assume that's a pass. Just like at the brake station, drivers may be required to demonstrate multiple times that they can do it. If they do it well above the required time, one pass may be good enough. But if they have marginal passing, they may need to do it multiple times. On top of that, the car will be required to do enough runs that they're confident in the car, not just the drivers. So if both drivers pass on first try, they may still require more runs just to observe the car throughout the entire slalom course. So yeah, so that was a pass, and Stanford's going to be doing a driver swap here. So I'm told that last time from Stanford was 10.2 seconds. So that's a very good time. Easy pass. Well under time, more than a second under time. So if they can do that again with their next driver, I believe they will be done with dynamics. I'm not sure if they have a few yellows to turn into green back at static, but if they get through dynamics right now, they're in very good shape to be ready to go tomorrow morning for the start of the Formula Sun Grand Prix. All right, well, we're waiting for cars over at Dynamics. We're going to show you our lights and vision station. So here you can see the number 6 car, CalSol from the University of California, Berkeley. They are going through the vision and lights part here. And so what's happening is you see the back of their car lined up with a cone. They will get the rear lights checked from various cones out in the parking lot to make sure the correct brightness at all the required angles and distances. You also see a big white board there. They will do vision tests with the rear camera, the side vision, and the forward vision. Make sure they can see the ground at a required distance in front and see up, such as to a traffic light. If this were an American Solar Challenge year, that'd be very important. And to make sure that the canopy is clear. So I want to make sure there's not a lot of distortion so the cars can see letters, words, So it's kind of like a eye exam almost at some points. They'll hold out a piece of paper that has a string of numbers and letters, ask the driver to read it, and make sure they can do that from all angles so that the entire vision field is clear of distortion. Additionally, they will get their horn tested here, but we are going to go back to brake tests. We have Illinois lined up and ready to go again. All right, here comes number 22, University of Illinois. All right, so that time they weren't quite going fast enough, 23 miles an hour, so they're going to go around and accelerate a little bit faster. Maybe get a rolling start. All right, here comes the Illinois car looping around the far end of the parking lot. Accelerating earlier. Already at 15, so that's faster than last time.
23.
All right, they're going to go again. Once again, just a little bit too slow on both the acceleration and the deceleration. So they're going to get, they're going to need to drive a little bit faster and slow down a little bit faster. All right, here comes Illinois again. And it sounds like Stanford's ready for slalom after that. And we have the Western Michigan car over at figure 8, so we'll try to get you that shortly after.
20, 24,
It's still not quite fast enough for that attempt, just 24 miles an hour. And here comes the Stanford car into slalom. We'll see if we can get this for you. Here goes a run for Stanford. Second driver, first run. Still nice and smooth. All the way through. Looks like they're going to loop around and do it one more time. All right, Illinois hit 25 miles an hour. They're going fast enough. Stopped faster than last time.
27.
It's 27 miles per hour and just over 3 seconds, so much closer. So they're going to keep working on that. All right, we're going to switch over to watch Stanford at the slalom again. This will be their second attempt for their second driver. They come just about to enter the slalom course. Up there lining up a little bit to get some more speed here. All right, we're going to have both the brake and the slalom running at the same time. So you might see the Illinois brake in the background of the Stanford slalom here.
25.
All right, so that was a nice smooth slalom from Stanford, and at the same time, a nearly passing break from Illinois. They're getting closer, so they're going to keep working with this driver to make sure she can get the full time. So they're getting the speed now. They got to work on the braking a little bit more. So Stanford's looping around. Looks like they're going to go one more time. Here we got Stanford again. Their last run was 12.3 seconds, so just a little bit too slow. Try to get this a little bit faster. And based on their applause, I think that one was fast enough. I'm not sure if they're going to go in or they may be done now. But we can go over to the figure eight now. We have Western Michigan, car number 786. They are working on the figure eight test. That is the second test you do at Dynamics. First, you have to do a U-turn test, and that just tests your turn radius. So that's a pretty quick one. If you've tested that at home, it will work here. So they just make a left U-turn, then a right U-turn, and then they head over to the figure eight. So at the figure eight, the car drives obviously in a figure eight, and they take the car out and start doing slow figure eights. And the staff are listening to the car to make sure everything sounds good. No rubbing, no clicking. That sounds bad. And then they ask the driver to slowly keep speeding up, and they'll keep doing that. And if at any point during it anything looks wrong, sounds wrong, they'll stop and have the team address it. But ultimately, they need to get up to 8 seconds per side, 16 total seconds for the figure eight, and they'll do that a few times before they pass the car through the figure eight. So it seems like they may have found something here on the Western Michigan car. So they have stopped the car to talk to the team about something that needs to be addressed. Now they're moving again. So you can see them going through the figure eight. This is not at the full required speed yet, so they're watching the car, make sure everything looks good, make sure it looks stable, it sounds good, no rubbing, and they'll keep speeding up until they get to the required speed. This figure eight test can be a challenge for these three-wheel narrow cars that we're starting to see more often now, like the Western Michigan car here. You also saw a narrow three-wheeler with the University of Illinois car over at brake testing. They passed the figure eight yesterday. So it looks like they're taking a little break here. Either they finished the figure eight or they got something to work on in order to finish the figure eight. But the University of Illinois is going to be working on getting their drivers ready for the brake test. We saw their first driver do it, so you know the car can do it, and they got to get their second driver up to speed on how to pass the brake test. Stanford appears to be done with the slalom, so they may be fully passed on Dynamics. So it looks like we're going to have a little bit of a lull here as we head into about lunchtime here. So we are going to end this live stream here, and depending on how many teams get out here, I may try to get back to you later today, this evening. Thanks for joining us this morning. Thank you for watching here from National Corvette Museum, Motorsports Park in Bowling Green, Kentucky. If you want to see when our next live streams will be, please follow us on Instagram. You can find us at American Solar Challenge. You can also find the American Solar Challenge on Facebook. We will post everything there. Additionally, you can You can subscribe on YouTube. If you turn on notifications, you will get notified anytime we go live. We also have scheduled live streams for the Formula Sun Grand Prix. So tomorrow morning we will have the start line for you, and we will stay with for the first few laps for every team that starts on the grid. We also have the last about hour of the Formula Sun Grand Prix on Saturday evening scheduled. So we will catch the finish line and the last hour or so as teams race to get those laps in at the end of the day on the last day. We should hopefully have a large number of cars out there at that time. And we also will bring you the awards ceremony that evening at 7 p.m. Central. We will plan to probably do a live stream as well on the second day of FSGP, but we're going to wait and see on the weather and how many teams are out there so we can get you the most cars on the track. Once again, thank you for joining us, and we hope to be back later this afternoon, but we need some cars to be out here. Otherwise, you're just going to be looking at literally at pavement drying. So, all right, that's all for now. Thanks for joining us here at the Electrek Formula Sun Grand Prix 2025.